Okay, world, so if you all have memorized the base pyramid and you know it by heart, then you're now ready to make these little changes to it to basically make it a useful pyramid for solving the cube, the 3x3, according to the beginner's method. So the first change is, and we'll make these changes together. So the first change is that when I told you it was RUR, and then RUR, LUL, the first row isn't actually RUR, it's RU2. So we made that little change there, RU2, R prime. Okay, so it's RU2, R prime. And as you know, the prime is the anti-clockwise. That's what the counterclockwise, that's what it means. And then in the second row, you have RUR and LUL. Well, they're primes over there. It actually, so the first, it actually is RUR prime. So that's just like the first row. So RUR prime. And the second one, LUL, where do you put the primes? It's simple. Look, R and U don't have a prime here, and the third term has a prime, but for LUL, it's the opposite. So L and U are going to have a prime, but the last L is going to be free of primes. So you see the pattern there? That's how it goes. Then for FTR and TRF, well, FTR is just as it is, no need to make any changes there. But for the TRF, you have to put primes. And this one's easy. You put primes on all of them, every single one. So it goes T prime, R prime, F prime. Then, coming to the fourth row, you have RTR and TRTR. Well, in this step, RTR isn't RTR just like FTR was. You have to make a slight change. You put in a prime there. So it's actually RTR prime. And for TRT, there are no primes, but you have to put in a 2 at the end of the second T. So it's actually TRT2. And the last little extra R, there you put a prime. So it isn't just R, but it's actually R prime. So don't get worried if you think the pyramid is getting a little too complicated, because things will settle down pretty soon. Now this step's a little bit more complicated, but I'll show you the pattern. Again, remember where I said RB and RB? Well, it isn't actually just RB. It's actually R prime B2. So the good thing about it is that the first RB is an R prime B2, and the second RB is an R prime B2 as well. Followed by, and the changes that you make to the RF, to the two RFs. Well, the first RF is an R prime F, and the second RF is an RF prime. So you can see the difference there. The prime is on the R in the first block, and it's on the F in the second one. And the R2 as well, it's an R2, there's no primes there. Lastly, we come to the last row. The L2, all's fine with that, but you have to make changes in the TBF and the BFT part, and the changes are again symmetric and they go in pattern. So the pattern is simply that you put the primes on the first and the last term of both boxes. So it's a T prime B F prime and a B prime F T prime. So that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much is it. That is the finished pyramid that you can actually use to solve 3x3 using the beginner's method. Now, basically, there's just a few more things that I'd like to just one more thing that I'd like to say. Basically, we're going to demonstrate now how to use these algorithms to solve the cube. I just like to mention that you can solve the very first algorithm, RU2 R prime. It isn't like you only need it basically to set things right when the pieces aren't in the proper position. You don't otherwise need it, but you start using the algorithms that you really need to solve the cube are RU prime and L prime U prime L. But the very first algorithm, the one on top, is the one that basically saves you when you're stuck, especially when you're doing F2L, basically before you come to the final layer of the cube. Okay, so watch out for our third video wherein we actually demonstrate how to solve the cube using just the pyramid, no algorithms.